Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by the channel. As always, make sure you're subscribed. There's a subscribe button down there, and there's a little bell icon down there somewhere. That bell icon is to make sure you're getting notifications. You can get as many or as few notifications as you want if with the bell icon, or you can just unsubscribe and get no notifications, but you'd be missing out. So this is going to be probably a really brief compared to most of my stuff, kind of quick take, but I've been getting asked a lot of questions lately. I had a conversation with a newspaper reporter a couple of weeks ago. I talked about that. I had a conversation with a growing friend, and others. There have been other people that have been asking about what is this Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, and what kind of organization is it, and what's the whole message of your organization. And I'm not an organization, okay? I'm not a club. I'm not a political action committee. Nothing like that. I don't head up anything. Oh, my hat's not straight. I can have that. That looks horrible on a beautiful day like this. I don't know. Well, who cares? Probably shouldn't be wearing it, but it's my brand, right? I'm not an organization. It's just a channel, okay? The Minnesota Black Robe Regiment is just a channel. I don't have legions and legions of people out there waiting to do my bidding, as somebody has suggested, in a nefarious way. I've had other people say, "Hey, Todd, we listen to you, and we appreciate what you have to say, and we really appreciate what you do." But there have been people over the last several months, really since the day I launched the channel, that have implied that somehow I have covert followers that are waiting to pick up arms at my command, and you don't know me very well if that's what you think, okay? Because first of all, not an advocate for violence, as I have told literally hundreds of people. I do not advocate for violence. The other part of that is that there's really no reason why. Oh, hey guys, check this out. That's my little ground squirrel, buddy. Anyway, random. That's just not what I'm about. Do I have, almost now 470 subscribers? Sure, I do. Is that what matters to me? No. I'm here to tell my story. I'm here to get a message out. But the Minnesota Black Robe Regiment is not some sort of group that is waiting to hear from TC, their leader, on what to do next. The reason that I formed this channel is because of my respect for the men of the church in the pre-Revolutionary War. I hate calling it the Revolutionary War. It wasn't a revolution. It was a fight for freedom. For my respect for the clergy of the days before the war for American independence was fought, because they had an understanding of what God designed to be the mode and the method of self-governance. And they took that to heart, and they taught that to their congregants, especially to the men of the families of their local churches. And that's incredibly important to me. And so that's what the Minnesota Black Robe Regiment is named after. So what is the Black Robe Regiment? Now, I've done a couple of videos, one saying, hey, obviously people think I'm disqualified because I'm not a ordained pastor or an ordained minister. There have been people that have been complaining that you can't be part of the modern Black Robe Regiment unless you've been appointed to the Black Robe Regiment by certain people. Okay, that's not how this works. One, there's an organization out there that if you want to be in it, you have to pay fees. I'm not going to do that. I don't care to pay money to somebody else to be part of something that was a historical organization. And there again, it wasn't really an organization. It was just what the Brits actually started to call it, which, the Dan Presbyterian War, or that Black Robe Regiment, because the Brits understood that strong, Reformed, Calvinistic Christian men were the impetus behind the fight for independence from the tyranny of Great Britain. And so I'm not going to pay fees to be part of a group. that is literally stealing from the history of the church in the United States, especially when one of the people that is part of that group is part of a Christian cult, but not actually a Christian. Okay, let's just get that, make that perfectly understandable. There are factions of Christianity that are Christian cults, but are not Christian. Okay, so why does that guy get to be part of the Black Robe Regiment, right? The modern Black Robe Regiment. So here's the deal. The Black Robe Regiment, to me, is any not organization, any amount of people within Christianity, genuine Christianity, true Christianity, who are inspired by what they know about Christian doctrine, theology, and philosophy, to stand up against tyranny in all of its forms and wearing all of its faces and all of its masks. It's people who have a desire to know and understand things like the doctrine of the lesser magistrates and the doctrine of interposition. It's people like me and others around me who have a desire to both honor God and glorify Him, while we fail at times, to do what's right, and that's to stand up for the truly oppressed people of the world. I guarantee you, I have more interest in seeing the betterment of people who are oppressed here in the United States, however you define that, than Black Lives Matter and Antifa does. See, Black Lives Matter and Antifa are authoritarian organizations. They want full control over everything. Antifa is not just interested in destroying fascism. I hate fascism. That's why I hate Antifa, because at its heart, it's a form of fascism. It wants all control. It just doesn't want a particular type of person to be an authority. They want the authority. And it's the same thing with Black Lives Matter. The organization, so do Black Lives Matter? Absolutely. Does the organization matter? No. It's a corrupt organization, and they want authoritarian control over everything. They want to dictate who's guilty and who's not guilty. They want everything to be a result of or product of inherent implicit bias and ultimately white privilege and white supremacy. They want to destroy anything that looks like whiteness. That's not liberating. That's oppressive. That's fascist. The Black Robe Regiment's not about that. The modern Black Robe Regiment's not about that. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, as my channel, is not about that. I'm about the liberty of all people to be individuals. Individualism, not collectivism. I don't want to look at you and see you as a person of a particular ethnicity and say your value is in your ethnicity. I don't want to look at you and see you as a person of a particular religious organization or religious group or religious leaning or a religious dogma or doctrine and say you're only valuable because of your religious perspective. I don't want to look at a person and say because of your political and philosophical ideological positions, you don't have any value. No. Do I have respect for Marxism and leftism? No, I don't respect it. I think it's a corrupt, evil, hateful political and philosophical ideological position. Absolutely. I love classical liberalism. I'm not a classical liberal, but I love classical liberalism. And so what I want people to understand is the Black Robe Regiment is not an organization. It's not a group of people bent on doing violence. It is for my channel, it's named in honor of men of the early continental United States, prior to the War for Independence, who put everything that they cherished on the line, everything that they had fought for on the line to free themselves from tyranny. And that's why I started this channel. I want to make sure I'm fighting against tyranny in all of its faces, in all of its forms. And I want more and more every day to bring biblical reasoning and biblical doctrine and philosophy into that. And that's what the Black Robe Regiment is. You can try and read into it what you want. You can try and accuse me of not being the right person for it. You can try and accuse me of having some sort of nefarious motive, that I'm waiting to start an insurrection, because none of that's true, and you'll never be able to show that it is. I simply named my channel what I named it out of respect for men who died to make this country free, to make this nation what it used to be. And that's what I want it to be again. So until next time, Sic Semper Tyrannis.